Hopefully.
Big. No,
I did that already once, and you said,
point it so they can see the TV and me. Okay.
It's good. If you go,
Okay,
yeah,
now you gotta
that's good
film
right
her,
there.
Dave.
Are you sick of seeing pharmaceutical ads while watching the Lions lose every
Yes.
Sunday? Well, I know I am. I want to talk today about why I think pharmaceutical advertisements should be banned. They should be banned from TV, they should be banned from newspaper and magazine print, and they should be banned from all of those office pamphlets you see at the doctors. Because of the rising costs of healthcare, I can't even afford to get sick, and it's pretty sad that you have to add the payments on your medical bills into your monthly spending every month. Pharmaceutical advertising should be banned because they increase the cost of healthcare, the ads are misleading, and they have a lot of negative effects on everybody, including patients, pharmacists, and doctors. The main reason I think our pharmaceutical bans should be banned because of the increases in cost. In 2016, a study by Dr. Scott Gibson and Benner found that 49% of advertised drugs cost over $1,000 a month, and 13% of them cost over $120,000 a year to take. The pharmacies or the pharmaceutical companies are trying to buy doctors' loyalties. For example, there was a story by Lampkin and Elliott who wrote this in a journal of law that there was this woman called Miss Wolston. She had muscular sclerosis and she was given a new drug by her neurologist to treat her condition. The new drug needed daily injections. She called her neurologist because every day she was having trouble. No matter where she injected herself, it was very painful. And she called her doctor. He said, well, don't worry, I'm going to put you in touch with a company called Shared Solutions. Now, she assumed that Shared Solutions had something to do with her medical coverage. So she agreed, and a representative from the company called her and talked to her and said, well, don't worry, we're going to help you. I'm going to put you in touch with another patient who is taking the same prescription as you are, and they will help teach you how to give yourself the injection without it being painful. So another old lady called her, and she was still having trouble. Every day she was in major pain. She finally called her neurologist back and said, I can't take this medication. These people didn't help me. Well, come to find out, the Shared Solution had nothing to do with her health insurance. They're actually a company that is paid by the pharmaceutical industry to call and talk to people to convince them to stay on medications that they're not happy with. And this is part of the reason people are losing trust in their doctors, because their doctors have become more loyal to the pharmacies or the pharmaceuticals than they have to their patients. Lately, the pharmaceutical industries are spending more money on research and development or more money on advertising than they spend on research and development. They spent $10 million just for one television commercial during the Super Bowl. This is a chart of how much they spend on advertisements compared to how much they spend on research and developing new drugs to help treat conditions. The orange bubble represents the size of their advertising budget. The blue bubbles, which you can see are much smaller, represents the size of their research and development department. And that's pretty sad. They also have a tendency to give you impression when they put advertisements on TV that these are new and improved drugs. Royne, a professor of business, and her co-author Myers reported that Nexium, used for heartburn, I'm sure everybody has seen these commercials, this was heavily advertised. It was identical to drugs that were already in use, except it cost 7 times more. And all the advertisements for Nexium showed people happy. They had no more heartburn. They could just take one purple pill a day. Their heartburn was gone. And the commercials showed happy, fun people, and thousands of them reported kidney failure. So I'm not sure why they were so happy in those commercials. Loin and Myers also pointed out how the ads make normal everyday things seem like medical issues, and it's not true. These advertisements have negative effects on everybody, including people that are misled by them, mostly patients. There was a research from Walter that found that 65% of Americans are now taking prescription medications. They're taking drugs they don't need to relieve symptoms of normal life. Aches and pains are normal. Stomach aches are normal. Heartburn is even normal. And I don't know if you want your kidneys to fail or if you'd rather just have heartburn for a little bit. They're trying to convince patients to switch to more expensive drugs. They don't tell you they're more expensive, they just tell you they're better and they're the same exact drug. And that should not be normal. The bad effects they're having on doctors. Doctors are losing patients' trust. They have patients coming in because they saw a commercial thinking that they need this drug because they have these symptoms. They're losing their trust because the doctors don't want to give out these prescriptions, and the people are insisting that because they saw this commercial, they think they need this drug. Doctors are losing trust because it's either give them this drug or they lose them as a patient, or don't give them this drug, and then their confidence is lost in their doctor. And it's making doctors feel obligated to give people drugs that they don't need. This is also having a lot of negative effects on pharmacies. Pharmacists can't prescribe medications. But there was a report saying that pharmacists over and over are being asked about drugs that were seen on TV or in magazine advertisements or even all the pamphlets that are even taking over pharmacies. They're not allowed to give out prescriptions, so why are these advertisements being targeted to them? And they're constantly being bothered by people wanting drugs that the pharmacists cannot give them. So I just think these advertisements need to be stopped. They need to be banned because the amount of money that's being spent on them is driving up the costs of them and their health care. They're having negative effects toward everybody. They're misleading people into thinking they need drugs that they don't need. And I encourage everybody to petition senators to put a stop to these pharmaceutical predators.
Good job.